Only if it was a
Kidding,
keepers.
I've already dropped him.
And we're live!
Oh,
Oh
sweet.
man, I wonder how much of that got in. I really do.
Oh man.
Rest in peace, every single Nick Chubb fantasy owner.
Oh my gosh. You cannot. Oh man. I was watching that game. Emily and I were watching it when it happened. And he went down, and at first, when he first went down, I kind of went, "Oh, dang it, just short of the touchdown. That could have been some good fantasy points for me. Give him the ball in the next one. That's great." And then I could see him kind of yelling, and then they're like, "Oh, and Nick Chubb is not getting back up." And I went, "No, no, no!" And I started like smacking my couch really hard. And then they said, "We're not going to show you the replay." And I said, "Oh no, he's done for the season."
And then
And
you
then
saw the replay somewhere
and
else.
then oh, seriously, Emily and I, we
Ugh.
were wondering because we're like, did he break his leg? Was it his knee? You know what I mean? And then we saw the replay on YouTube later, and both of us literally were like, like feeling a little nauseous. It was, oh my goodness.
And I mean, oh, people thought the Aaron Rodgers injury was bad, and I'm like, nope, nope, this is nothing.
What is really sad about this is the same knee that Nick Chubb had reconstructed for the same injury in college. This could potentially mean the end of his career.
Yep. Also, every single time this has happened, an injury has happened, like a big injury. It's been on Monday Night Football this year.
That's very true. And I feel like a lot of the times too, we get these happening in week two. Where week two, for some reason, there's a high volume of injuries. I look back to a couple of years ago. Do you remember the football season during the pandemic, which is again when they started really bringing up the conversation about getting rid of
Yeah.
the turf fields? Which now, granted, the turf field conversation that has more to do with Aaron Rodgers than it does Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's injury literally happened because of the low hit that happened. But in the case of Aaron Rodgers' injury, they were talking about the turf field. But I remember during the COVID season, week two, Christian McCaffrey got a high ankle sprain, and Saquon Barkley and Nick Bosa both tore their ACLs all in week two.
Dang.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of wild that here we are because we're having more injuries that have happened. We were talking about another running back too, who I've already said his name, Saquon Barkley. His ankle not looking great. He may be able to rebound, but there's an injury that came from that comeback win against the Cardinals, and now I doubt we're going to see him for week three.
I will say this has been like the season of injuries right now.
See, I think it's going to get worse, and that's what concerns
Oh,
me. And I don't
especially
know how to fix it. I don't know if it's the turf field. You know what I mean?
especially with this Monday Night Football being the Bengals and the Rams. A lot of people were like, is Joe Burrow gonna go down?" I'm like, please, please no.
Oh my gosh! Please no. That's a tough one.
But anyway,
Um,
so we went over Saquon Barkley going down. We went over
we
Nick
went over Nick
Chubb,
Chubb.
which if anyone is wanting to look at that video, be prepared because it is not for the faint of
Oh,
heart.
oh, it's rough. A knee should not bend that way. Let's just
Ugh,
leave it at that.
ugh. Austin Eckler, he is injured, but he is day to day right now and could possibly come back for the Week 3 matchup, depending on how his ankle injury is rolling and doing. So,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like he could end up being just a late game scratch. You know what I mean?
also the worst thing about this that I just realized, our list is like all running backs, and this was like the year
Yeah.
that the running backs were trying to say we need to prove that we need deserve to get paid, and every single one of them is getting injured.
Yep, because the other one that we do have on this list, mention him real quick, David Montgomery's got a lingering thigh injury that's kept him out of the overtime loss to the Seattle Seahawks this past week, but then it's probably going to keep him out of the lineup here going into week three.
Yeah, and then I think Travis Etienne, he's also injured. He's not on our list, but I believe he is also injured, and he was questionable, but I think it was only
It's more
cramping.
than just cramps. It was more than just cramps.
Yeah, but the fact that it's like 3 days of cramps is a little concerning.
Oh yeah, you might be right.
I think he'll be
Um,
fine, but three days in a row of him being on the injury report, and they're like, "Oh, he's cramping," and I'm just like, he shouldn't be cramping for 3 days straight.
yeah, that's true. While we're at it, I'm going to add two more running backs to the list.
So
Justice
many.
Hill, who is one of the replacements for J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens, he's got turf toe, so he's not going to play this week,
Gus Edwards
most
stepping
likely.
in.
Yep.
And
And
they
then
signed
Isaiah,
Kenyon Drake again.
they did, yep. And then Isaiah Pacheco's got a hamstring issue.
Everybody's going down.
Outside of the quarterbacks, we've got a defensive player in Josh Allen, who's got a shoulder injury, still labeled questionable, right, Shane?
Yep, still labeled questionable. The other Josh Allen,
Yes,
to
the
be
other
clear,
Josh Allen.
not the quarterback one, the other one.
Yep. The one quarterback that we do have on this list is Anthony Richardson, and he's entered concussion protocol, which means there is a possibility of returning fairly soon. It's just a little bit of a bummer because it
He
looked
was
like he was on
doing
a
so
roll.
good. I mean, apparently C.J. Stroud is like second for passing yards this year or something. He's in the top 5.
I as long as CJ Stroud plays safe football, he actually could be pretty decent. It's actually rather entertaining that the quarterback that has been sucking the most right now is Bryce Young.
And I've also been seeing so many things where it's like the Bears have the Texans first round. No, is it the Texans or is it
The Panthers.
Panthers? Okay, I was like, it's not the Texans. That's the Texans have the Cardinals first round, or is it the other way around? Cardinals have the Texans. I don't
Yes,
know.
no, that's correct. Yeah, the Texans have no. The Cardinals have the Texans.
That's what I
That's what
thought
it
because
is.
Cardinals traded up. Okay, so
Yeah.
as it stands right now, the Bears could be having 2 of the top 5 picks for next season, and the Cardinals could be having 2 of the top 5 picks for next season.
It's true, and as we know, for probably both teams, they're not going to woo any free agent to come there because they're both sorry franchises. So they're going to have to look in the draft and maybe actually use those picks.
I feel so bad for the Bears right now. You're
Oh.
it literally looks like your entire coaching staff just imploded and died within week 1.
Absolutely, that's the way that it is. It's incredibly sad.
And I feel
It's
bad.
really,
I think I
it's.
feel worse because everyone blames Justin Fields.
I mean, he hasn't been great either. Let's be honest. But the
Yes.
biggest thing that I'm just gonna say with this is something that I said a couple of years ago, and that's it's probably time for the McCaskies to sell the team because that's really just the last domino that needs to fall here. Nothing else is going right.
You basically need what the Commanders had happen.
Yeah, well, and then get a capable offensive coordinator because that's what the Commanders have right now, and that's not what the Bears have.
Yeah, by the way, I saw a weird statistic that I thought was very interesting.
I know what
So,
you're gonna bring up. Talk about it. I know it. I know where this is going. I
Eric
saw it
Bieniemy,
about an hour ago. Yep, I saw it an hour ago.
that was just so mind blowing. So for everybody, it was the Chiefs with Eric Bieniemy. They had like the top
Number
what was
one.
it?
Number one passing offense.
Oh, number 1. I didn't know it was number 1. Number 1 passing offense
It was either
with
passing or scoring offense.
one of the two.
Yep.
Basically, they had a top 5 offense with Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. So far this season, they're tied for 24th or 22nd. One of the two.
20 seconds.
Okay. The Commanders got Eric Bieniemy. Last year, they were like 24th in offense.
27th.
27? Dang, even lower.
Yep.
This year, they're what? Top 5, 10?
7. They're 7.
They're number 7. But I mean, still, like,
Everyone thought it was Mahomes.
everyone thought it was Mahomes, but shoo, Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching job, honestly.
Right, because isn't the OC Matt Nagy now for the Chiefs?
Yep.
Wow. How about that? Yep.
You're familiar with his work.
He was actually the OC with the Chiefs before he became the head coach of the Bears. Now he's back there.
Ugh.
But he's got a ring, so I guess I should shut my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars lost to them, and Doug Peterson has not been great against his old mentor and Andy Reid. So, anyways, let's move on to our wows and our woes.
Okay, Shane, let's start off with your picks.
All right, so the first one, and this is a game that I basically got to sit down and watch the whole thing, so I was actually kind of happy with that. I have the Commanders versus the Broncos, and the Commanders won 35 to 33. And I think the biggest thing to talk about this game is that was like the Broncos were ahead for a while, and then the Commanders came back. Commanders took the lead. The Broncos got a Hail Mary throw that got tipped 3 to 4 times for a touchdown, and then they failed on the 2-point conversion.
Yep.
And the Hail Mary happened as time expired, so it was like oh my gosh, the Broncos might be able to tie and send it to overtime, and then, it looked like they choked because, I mean, when I was watching it, I'm like, Russ, why don't you just run the ball in? I'm like, there's no one around. Why aren't you running the ball in? And then, it was messy. So,
Yeah.
the two biggest things: one, Commanders are now 2-0.
Right.
So, are they a good team with Hal, or do you think that they're getting lucky right now?
Okay, let's take a look at the two teams they have played, Shane. That's just something I need to bring up
Yep.
there right now. The first, they played the Cardinals, who were never expected to be good, and secondly, they played the Broncos, who have got a lot of hype, but they haven't proven it because the Broncos are now also 0-2.
Broncos are no, yeah,
Oh,
0-2. I forgot the Raiders did win last week.
by 1 point.
Yep. Okay, so you're gonna
So
say they're getting lucky right now.
yeah, I mean, I think there's some skill behind it. I'm not throwing that out
I
there.
think
I'm
that
just
defense is
saying.
very good.
Yeah, I think the defense is really good. They've got Chase Young back in action, which is pretty cool to see. And then I think, they've got other good things that are happening on their team. But I will not believe it until, let's say, they beat the Buffalo Bills this week.
Or, the Cowboys who are in their division.
Or the Eagles, for that matter.
Yep, they're in one. I will say they're one of the strongest divisions. So, with all of that said, do you think they can get a wild card spot?
Yeah, I do believe they can. But
It's gonna be an uphill battle.
it's going to be an uphill battle. And when we go later into our For the Fun, which will kind of touch on this subject that you brought, I don't believe I'm going to have them as part of my picks for wild cards. But I'm not ruling it out.
2-0 start, always good to have.
For sure, for sure. Definitely sets you up well. Now, next up, we've
Unlike,
got the
oh,
Broncos.
yeah, I was gonna say, unlike the Broncos who have lost back-to-back games, both of them being very, very close games.
And there's been a report that is saying that Sean Payton is blaming Russell Wilson for this.
Yup.
How does that get repaired? Because here we are basically having this thing of he said, she said, this isn't going right, blame that person, blah, blah, blah. Whether it's Justin Fields blaming the coaching, whether it's Sean Payton blaming the quarterback. In the case of the Broncos, how do they fix this? Because here's the thing: the Broncos is one of those They are one of those franchises, Shane, where it's like if they don't figure it out, there's going to be some serious problems. You know what I mean? Like their fan base is going to go absolutely nuts. I think
Especially if
it's
you think
different
about
than
how much they gave up to get Russell Wilson.
exactly. I think it's different than say a fan base like the 49ers or the Cowboys or the Packers or the Bears. Say for, and what I mean by that is like let's take the Packers, the Cowboys, and the 49ers first, where it's sort of a thing of they're like, yeah, we look really good, but we kind of always fall short afterwards. Whatever, you know what I mean? This sucks. I'm gonna punch a TV, and then I'm gonna move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And then Bears fans, we've just been stuck in mediocrity and terribleness for years now.
It's kind of sad.
So
I remember
yeah,
those times.
oh yeah. But what I'm saying is, I feel like with the Broncos though, it's just a thing of like I feel like their fan base is different. They are fully determined to see, hey, we want to have a winning franchise here, and we haven't. We have not made the playoffs since we won the Super Bowl. What is going on?
I mean, I'll say one thing with this past week. I was blown away with how well that they were doing, and I feel like they just choked it at the end of the day. Because honestly, their rookie wide receiver Marvin Mims, he was looking pretty solid. He had 2 catches for 113 yards,
Mm-hmm.
and they were
I
tough,
mean,
gritty catches too.
there's a possibility. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like again, it's another uphill battle if we're talking the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. What I think honestly happened is that I think the Broncos defense just started giving up because they were winning 21-14 at halftime, and
Right.
then their defense just got kind of rolled over, and it translated to the offense not doing as well, and
Mm-hmm.
ugh, it was kind of just ugly to watch.
For sure. What about the Titans and the Chargers? That's your other pick that you want to talk about
Woot
here.
woot! Not really woot woot because Titans won. That made me very sad. But we got an overtime game, and that made me very happy and was very exciting to watch.
Sure. No, I get it.
I
Now
mean,
here's the thing.
go ahead.
Well, I just want to talk about one of the big things that you're talking about that I know you're going to bring up Derrick Henry and his performance. I mean, what are your feelings about that? Because he's basically the linchpin for the Titans.
Oh, I know. That's why it was shocking. Is that like I had to go back and I'm like, how much did Derrick Henry do? And I'm like, he only averaged like 3 yards a carry, and he rushed like 25 times. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, like 3 yards a carry, 25 times. But I'm like, 3 yards a carry doesn't get you a first down on average.
That's true.
And if teams are starting to figure it out, and Derrick Henry's getting up there in age, honestly, I'm worried if the Titans don't figure out what to do after Henry, they're going to fall behind in a rising AFC South very, very fast.
It's certainly possible, and I think the biggest concern there is that's why it was so big for them to get this win here because obviously them losing to the Saints, which may I add, I don't believe the Saints are an amazing football team. I think
No.
they've kind of been lucky with some of their wins too, as far as one who they've been playing or two just how the game has gone. So having to see the Titans win against a team like the Chargers, which is a relatively high scoring team,
They've scored
is
over 60 points this season so far.
it's saying something is really what it is. And I don't know, can the Titans, could this be the last season the Titans can push for the division? Yeah, probably because Derrick Henry is definitely getting up there and has fallen out of his prime more or less. But there's not really much else to look on when it comes to the team.
Well, I mean, it's like Derrick Henry might be gone soon. Ryan Tannehill might be done soon, and they obviously don't trust Malik Willis because they drafted
Or
Mayo
Will
Boy,
Levis, yeah.
and I don't even know if they
Copy and
trust.
Mail Boy.
I don't even know if they trust him though.
No, because I don't think he's been playing really all that well. I remember what they were saying in training camp is it wasn't looking good.
So they have had 2 years in a row where they drafted a quarterback in the first round and then another one in the second round. Neither one of them seem to be panning out. Ryan Tannehill isn't
Right.
getting any younger. Derrick Henry isn't getting any younger. And that wide receiver core doesn't look very good.
Yeah. What about the Chargers, though? That's probably the bigger question in
Oh
this.
my gosh.
They're now 0-2. They're predicted to be one of the most heavy swinging teams. And look, here's the thing.
They
There's a
are.
lot of talk about there was a lot of talk about Kellen Moore leaving the Dallas Cowboys, essentially getting booted from the Dallas Cowboys to go over and be the OC for the Los Angeles Chargers. And it was a thing of, oh man, I don't know, if this is going to work out. But here we are. They score high. I think it goes well there. I don't think that he's necessarily the problem. But what is going on? Is it because of Austin Eckler? Because the thing is he was doing well and it still didn't pan out. But now he's not healthy. What's the problem here?
Oh my gosh. I really don't know because I'll give them the Dolphins loss because the Dolphins are looking like a very strong team and possibly a Super Bowl contender.
They're one of only two teams in the AFC that are still undefeated
So I
going
will
into week
give
three.
them the Dolphins loss, especially because I think that was an overtime loss.
It was close.
It was
Yeah.
not an overtime, but it was like minutes within.
Yes, and it was very close, the score wise.
Yeah, 36 to 34. But then they go to the Titans, a game that I honestly thought they could easily win that. They have a good high functioning offense. They have a pretty
Mm-hmm.
solid defense that competes with the Chiefs 2 times a year. But then they lose to the Titans in overtime.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like ever since the Jaguars beat them in the playoffs last year, they just can't close out games anymore.
It might become just typical Chargers.
Yeah,
Really sad to say, but
just not able to close out a game. They're doing so well, but when it comes down to the last minutes, they just can't hold it.
last question here. Do you think they have a chance to bounce back and make a break for a wild card? Or maybe even the division?
They got to do it soon, and honestly, this week's matchup may not be that easy for them to do a bounce back.
Hey, you might be right. Um, okay, let's move on to the next one because I want to get through these so we can start getting into our trending up and trending down, and then of course our matchups. My first pick is the Packers and the Falcons, with the Falcons winning the game 25-24.
Heck
Shane, the crazy
yeah!
thing with this, it was an impressive game. Um, the ground game for the Falcons is serious. It doesn't
Man,
matter if it's Bijan Robinson or Tyler Algier or Cordero Patterson. It's scary.
I'm
They're good.
so sad that in all my keeper leagues, I did not have the number one overall pick to grab Bijan. I had the number two overall pick in one of them, and I'm like, gosh dang it. I would love to have Bijan.
I have Bijan in my keeper league.
Well, lucky you.
I'm very happy about it.
I mean, to be fair, I turned around a team that went like, well, this is a couple years back, but I turned around a team that like was the last place team, didn't win a single game, and I turned that
Uh-huh.
into Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and now I have Tyreek Hill, Jacobs, Eckler.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
I turned them into basically a mini juggernaut team.
There you go. There you go. Okay, now going back here to again because we're gonna be talking about Bijan Robinson here within keeper leagues, and really just how he's helped bring a spark for the Atlanta Falcons, but not just the Falcons. The Saints are 2-0 and the Buccaneers are 2-0. The NFC South teams aren't looking silly and all full of losing records like they were last year. So it
Unless you're
sounds
the
to me like this is the
Panthers.
rebound year. Sounds like the rebound year for this division, outside of the Panthers,
Who had
um,
the #1 overall pick?
and are still 0-2.
Oh man.
So,
Okay.
oh,
Irony.
who do you think? So I mean, there's a question there as far as can the Falcons win it all in the division. We'll probably talk about that more as far as whether they're the most likely team to win the division. But on the Packers side too, the potential of Jordan Love. Look, Jordan Love did well against the Bears, but it's the Bears. He goes up against the Falcons, and I know there's a clip circulating around where it almost looks like he's a little drunk and he stumbles right during the snap. I don't know if you've seen that, but
I
it
have.
looks really, really weird.
I don't know, because a lot of people last year were talking about how Jordan Love was like the next best thing, and they get 3 quarterbacks in a row who are amazing. But honestly, week 1 hype, and if your rookie quarterback wins in their first game, I feel like it builds off so much hype,
Mm-hmm.
and then people just carry that.
Yeah, I would say, going on to this, I don't think Jordan Love is the most glaring weakness of the Packers team. I think that's probably more the defense.
Hmm.
I think the defense just kind of needs to step it up a little bit. But I don't know, again, the Packers are kind of a question mark right now. I don't really know what to make of them. Let's just leave it at
The
that.
the
They almost
Falcons
won this game.
the Falcons are a running team. They are definitely not a passing team.
Desmond Ritter did all right.
Yeah, still not a passing team.
They're not, but he did all right as a game manager. You know what I mean?
The
Drake
amount of
London caught a
times that
touchdown.
Kyle Pitts is wide open with no one remotely near him and he doesn't get the ball
Yeah,
to him.
you got me there. You got me there.
It was sad to watch. Like, I literally just saw him and he's just like trying to do everything to get the ball thrown to him, and then they throw it to someone else. He's just like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. All right, last one. What about the Ravens and the Bengals? The Ravens won
Woo!
this game 27-24. Is Lamar Jackson back now that he's got the bag? First question.
He's doing better than Joe Burrow after he got his bag.
Yeah, so with that, do you think the Ravens are the front runners for the division? Because I think they are.
Ugh, it feels weird because I feel like the Bengals are struggling, but as you have said many a times,
They were 0-2 last year.
they always start off slow.
They were 0-2 last year, and they went to the championship game.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna count the Bengals out yet.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Gus Edwards and Justice Hill carrying running back duties. I know they're trying to still figure that out because you got Lamar Jackson in the mix, and he can run too. But I think it's kind of working out pretty well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's not working bad. The split backfield definitely worse, and Ravens running backs have been cursed for the past like 2 to 3 years. So
For sure. How about on the Bengals side? We talked about Joe Burrow's injury, and maybe it all starts with that because if he's not feeling 100%, it seems like everything else falls from that. Joe Mixon's not good. Jamar Chase isn't good. T. Higgins has had a good game,
it's like T. Higgins on the other hand.
but okay. So how do the Bengals bring life to their offense? How do they fix it? How do they right the ship? It seems like Joe Burrow needs to get healthy first, but is there anything else? Because I feel bad for those fantasy owners who had the second overall pick and they took Jamar Chase.
What about the people that have Joe Burrow?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
it's just as bad, honestly.
Yeah, he probably is.
He has got me. Let me double check my leads real quick. Where
Well,
is he?
while you do that, I mean, as far as how the Bengals bring life to their offense, I think the biggest thing is it's going to have to come to his health first, and they're also going to need to make sure that they are focusing on the offensive line. I know we say that over and over and over again with the Bengals, but something's got to happen with that
That O line
O-line.
needs to be fixed. By the way, Burrow, week 1, 3 points. Last week, 15.
Sheesh.
Quarterbacks are expected to get like 19 to 20 points on average a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
rough.
bad. It's very bad.
All right
But
then. Then with that being said, trending
trending
up
up,
teams.
trending down.
I'll take trending up this week if you want to take trending down.
Ooh, I get the fun one.
Hey, tell you what, trending up teams, I got to put the Atlanta Falcons on here.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Another one I got to put up on there, Washington Commanders.
Yep, I like. I'm liking the commies.
Another one I think I'll put up there because they are solidifying themselves as looking decent right now amongst, their overall pedigree in their division. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, not a bad list. So my number one for the trending down. I feel like this is easily the number one trending down. I got the Chargers.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think we can pick anyone other than Chargers. Second one, second straight week in a row, the Bengals.
Yep, definitely.
And then this is where it gets a little trickier because I'm like, it's very easy to just like put the Broncos on it, but I'm like, how much faith do people actually have in the Broncos?
Right. You want to know who I would? I know someone else that I'd put there instead.
I have one, so I want to hear yours, and then I'll tell you mine.
New man on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep, I have Vikings as well.
Yep. Which we had them trending down last week too, so it's just getting worse.
They're 0-2, and here's the fun thing. So we're gonna cover this in a little bit. Two of the people on our trending down list are facing each other this week.
That's right.
So someone's getting a redemption this week.
Woo! And we disagree on the pick.
Yup.
All right, then let's.
I'm excited. We're going to talk about it very soon. So give us a minute.
That'll be awesome.
Thursday night football. Tomorrow night, we got the Giants versus the 49ers, and we're changing up how we're going to do our matchups. We're not going to read a score. We're just going to pick our teams to get through this a little bit faster so we can have more time for the fun and yada, yada, yada.
For sure. So Thursday night football, we've got New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers. Shane, we agree. 49ers win it.
Yep.
Matchup monster for this game.
I'm going to go with the defense.
Yeah, no, I like that. If I'm going to go on an offensive side, you got to give me Christian McCaffrey. I just feel like he is going to find a way to really make it rough for the Giants.
It's been very interesting. I hated every time people will draft CMC in fantasy football because he would always got injured. But now that he's on the 49ers, he doesn't get hurt.
Because he doesn't have to be the workhorse.
I know, but I'm just like, man, now is the time to start drafting CMC apparently.
For sure. Okay, how about this one? We disagree on this one. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Detroit Lions. You say Lions, I say Falcons. I'm going to say Falcons because I feel like the Lions defense is going to have a tough time with that run game. That's my biggest reason for why I'm picking the Falcons here.
And see, honestly, I like both of these teams, and realistically, I think it's going to be a coin flip of game. I just think the Lions offense is a little bit better.
And see, I disagree with. I'm gonna retract that. Actually, I was gonna say, well, David Montgomery's hurt, but what happens? What if Jahmyr Gibbs breaks out?
We both watched the Chiefs versus Lions game, and when Jahmyr Gibbs got that ball, he looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, David Montgomery possibly out. Amon-Ra St. Brown is currently questionable, so it is a little
But if Jahmyr Gibbs blows up, then Lions win this game. If not, Falcons.
Yep, and I think that's what we're going to go down to is matchup monster. We're going to say Gibbs, and I'm pretty sure you're going to say Robinson.
Yep, Robinson for sure. Maybe Algier, but I'm going to go with Robinson.
The two running backs, which we have highly touted as the two best offensive rookies so far.
For sure. Okay, Chargers and Vikings.
Heck yeah!
We disagree. You've got the Chargers, I've got the Vikings. Here's the biggest reason why I've got the Vikings. I feel like the Vikings, apart from the turnovers that were committed in Thursday Night Football against the Eagles, I feel like the Vikings played a solid game. They have the ability to outside of their defense. And I feel like that is going to vault them just over the edge against the Chargers because, one, their offense will be able to play well against the Chargers, but defensively, that's where the question comes into mind.
Yep,
I'll
because
just say that. But I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah, as we said earlier, Cousins has been one of the best quarterbacks this season so far.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't hate it. I honestly think this is probably going to be the game I'm most excited to watch this week because it's two teams both wanting
Yeah.
their redemption. Both of them are expected to make the playoffs, and I'm just like, ooh. Cousins has been on a roll lately, and they did just pick up Cam Akers, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for the Vikings.
Right. Can it be safe to say that our matchup monster is Kirk Cousins for this game?
Yeah, I gotta go with Cousins. I will say I think the Chargers' offense though it's gonna be a battle of the offenses because I think both of these defenses are gonna kind of fall flat.
Let me throw this one out there too. If Keenan Allen can have a third straight decent game, or at
Woo!
least a game where he did at least as well as he did against the Titans, despite the loss, we'll see something from the Chargers.
I mean, I would love Keenan Allen to do great because then I can trade him in every league that I have him.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Saints and Packers. We disagree on this one too. You have the Saints winning it. I have the Packers. Look, Shane, I've said it before. I don't think the Saints are a very good football team. I think the fact that they weren't able to get that much of a high score against the Panthers shows that to
Yep.
me. Whereas the Packers are capable. They've just had a bad luck where they only lost by 1 point to the Falcons, who are a better team than the Saints in my opinion. So that's why I have the Packers.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that yet, but
That's how I feel.
I will say I trust Derek Carr more than I trust Jordan Love. I also I think the Packers team honestly is just such an ugly looking team where in the sense of I don't love having anyone on their offense. I don't love anybody on that defense. Or at least the Saints, I'm like, you know, you got Chris Olave there, so I mean there's potential in this direction.
I just don't see it with the Saints. I'll be honest with you. I'm really trying, but I don't see it.
Well, I will say this is probably one of the ones I'm picking to be an upset.
Okay, fair enough. Matchup monster for this game. Go ahead and give me.
So you can't even name anybody on that offense.
Well, I mean, I'm just debating between the two running backs. That's the biggest thing. Is I'm like, oh man, which one to go? Which one do I go with? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say Olave for myself.
Yeah.
This one's just hurting you at this point.
Just give me Aaron Jones. Let's move on. I really do think it's gonna be the Packers, but I don't think it's gonna be one individual player. That's really all I
Nothing
gotta
felt
say.
good for you, and I could feel it.
Oh, it is the Packers. Are you really surprised that I'm feeling that way?
Nobody likes the Packers.
Nobody likes the Packers. Okay, Texans and Jaguars. We agree on this one. Jaguars win it. Matchup monster for this game. Please, for the love of all that is holy, let it be Calvin Ridley.
I will say this is an interesting statistic, and I almost picked the Texans because of this. Since Trevor Lawrence has been a Jacksonville Jaguar, they have only won one game against the Texans.
Oh.
Yeah, they are 1-3 against the Texans right now, and what I think is going to come down to, I think it's going to be that Jaguars defense picking on CJ Stroud a little bit, and I'm going to give it to Andre Cisco, the safety, to at least get one interception.
Okay. No, I like that pick. Dolphins and Broncos. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Broncos. Dolphins have got this one.
Oh, I love the Dolphins. So who is your matchup monster?
I mean, I would love to go with Tyreek Hill, but let's switch it up a little bit. You know who actually had a really, really good game is Raheem Mostert.
Isn't he questionable right now?
Is he? I need to look at it again. I thought he was fairly healthy.
I thought. Let's see, Mostert.
He is healthy.
Oh,
He's healthy.
Okay. You know what? I won't argue then. You know, I know that we love Reek because Tyreek Hill is one of the best wide receivers in the game. Period. Right now. I want to go with Waddle. I want to see that Waddle connection that was doing great last year to get some pressure off of Ridley, or not really, Tyreek.
Yeah. Oh, I can see. Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
He's been quiet so far, so I can see it coming on the horizon.
Yes, for sure. Okay, next up we got the Titans and the Browns. Look, we're both going with the Titans here because I think there's going to be an adjustment period now without Nick Chubb, and the Browns did not look good on Monday Night Football. I think the Titans will be able to have their number in that regard. I don't really necessarily have a matchup monster for the Titans because I feel like it's kind of like the Packers. Outside of Derrick Henry, there's really no one obvious on that team. So I could go with Derrick Henry, but outside of that, I might just say just any Titans wide receiver.
So,
That sound terrible?
Traylon Burks. You got Chris Moore. D-Hop is there.
Sure. Let's go with D-Hop.
I'm like, to be honest, if Chubb was not injured, I would have picked the Browns to win this.
I would have too.
But I think it's the fresh injury and having to change their dynamic so much in such a short time is going to be rough on them this first week.
For sure, and I feel like the Browns actually would have won that game on Monday night if it weren't for the Chubb injury. I think that literally took the wind out of their sails.
Yep. All right, let's move on. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Commanders, and we disagree.
You're going with the Commanders here. Tell me about it.
Another upset pick, honestly.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to go with the Bills. Matchup monster for this game. I feel like Stephon Diggs hasn't been as loud as he
normally is.
So I'm going with
he's been loud on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm gonna go with Chase Young. I want to see a lot of defense action this week.
Okay, cool. I like it. Ravens and Colts. With Richardson out in concussion protocol, Gardner Minshew is good, but I think we got the Ravens on this one.
I do love a good Gardner Minshew. Anyways, who is your matchup monster?
Gus Edwards.
You really need him to do something, don't you?
I think it'd be nice to see, you know what I mean? Show that the running back game is more than just Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to say Zay Flowers.
All right.
He looked solid last week. I think he can do it again. Oh boy, I was not looking forward to this one.
Patriots and Jets. Now, Shane, I'm curious about this. Oh, no, actually, I'm not curious about this. I know you picked the Patriots.
You know I hate them.
Yes, but I know you picked the Patriots because generally they have the Jets number. But I know that Garrett Wilson was talking. He's like, no, it's not going to happen this time. And I'm believing him on this one.
Not with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
My
biggest argument for this is that they were within a touchdown of tying the Dolphins going into overtime.
Yeah.
Whereas the Jets, I feel like the Jets have gotten lucky. We don't know how Breece Hall is right now, so they're going to have to rely on the air game with Zach Wilson a lot more. And if Breece Hall is out, that's going to make the Patriots defense a little bit easier to play.
Okay, so maybe I'll just take a gamble here and say maybe the Jets do figure it out, but they probably won't.
I'm going to say if Breece Hall is there, I think the Jets will probably win.
Okay.
So I'll say that's my matchup monster. I'll say Breece Hall.
All right. I will agree with that.
All right. Panthers and Seahawks. The Sea Chickens.
We'll take the Seahawks. Matchup monster for this game. You know what? Go ahead and give me Kenneth Walker.
I hope so. Only because we have never said his name yet, and I want him to do something. JSN.
Yeah.
He's been quiet so far, and I know he's a wide receiver 3. Tyler Lockett broke out this past week. Metcalf I believe was the go-to guy week 1. Time for third man up.
Yeah, maybe.
Whoop. Did not mean to do that. All right. Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, for one, it's in Arrowhead, and yeah, it's the Chiefs are just the better team. So
and
both
your coaching
Chiefs
staff has imploded, and nobody knows what's going on.
Yep, exactly. So going Chiefs all the way here. Let's go with.
I'm saying Travis Kelce because he just announced, or it was just announced today, that he is now dating Taylor Swift. So.
Yeah, and my mom didn't believe me when I said that.
Oh, I posted it in like a group channel with the guy in our league, the crocodile guy, and he's like, "Give me a source." And I sent him the source, and it's just like, "Huh, can't believe this is actually happening now." Travis Kelce willed this into existence because a couple of months ago he was like, "Man, he's like, I would love to be able to like talk to Taylor Swift one-on-one, like hang out with her and everything." And now they're dating, and I'm just like, man. Was either gonna be really...
my mom had this whole thing. She was like, "Yeah, well, Travis Kelce just isn't her type. She likes to date movie stars and singers who aren't athletes and are big like Travis Kelce."
Hey, Kelce can sing.
Yeah. Oh man.
Also,
okay, moving on here.
I was gonna say also, the only thing I have to say with this game, do you think this might be the first shutout we get this season?
It's not the first shutout we get this season.
Oh, did we already have a shutout this season?
Cowboys and Giants, my
That's
friend.
right, we did 40-0. Ha!
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I feel better.
How many points did the Giants score in week 1? 0! Quoting the movie Holes, if you haven't guessed. 0!
Man, there have been so many memes. There was another one that my wife saw and wanted me to send to. I'm like, nah, that's too mean. It was like, the Bears haven't won a game since Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yeah. Yep. It's that bad.
Anyways, speaking of the
It's
Cowboys,
like the Jaguars. It's like the Jaguars a couple years ago.
Oh, dark times. Dark
Yep,
times.
I'm going through them now. Okay, Cowboys and Cardinals. We got the Cowboys winning this one. Matchup monster for this game. Give me like Stephon Gilmore, someone from the defense besides Micah Parsons.
Oh man, I do love Micah Parsons. So I am gonna say Diggs. Trayvon Diggs.
Yep, good one. Hey, Steelers and Raiders. We got the Steelers winning this game. Matchup monster. DJ Watt, because he's scary.
And because he's like the only notable Pittsburgh Steeler player right now.
George Pickens.
He had one great play this last week, but I do
he
not
only
believe
has
Pickens.
one in the bag. He only has one in the bag. Let's be real.
But I mean, you got Kenny Pickett, you got Najee Harris, who's fallen off a cliff apparently.
Absolutely.
Jeez. Anyways, we got the Eagles and the Buccaneers, and yikes.
I feel like it has to be the Eagles. I mean, I know the Buccaneers are 2-0 right now, but I feel like the Eagles will be the stronger group in that. And for that matchup monster, let's just say they figure it out. Jalen Hurts feels bad. They fix it with the coaching, and A.J. Brown is the star of that show.
Please, Lord, answer my prayers and let it be A.J. Brown. I need it. I got him in some of my leagues with like the first overall pick because I was picking like second to last. I'm like, I'm going to grab a wide receiver 1 on a good team, and I got A.J. Brown, and he's got me like 8 points this season so far. So I'm like, please, I need something.
Is that the same? Is the fantasy group that you're talking about? Is that our league that we're in together?
To be fair, I picked at number 9 in like 3 leagues this year, so
okay.
It's possible it was ours. It's also possible it was in others as well.
Okay, because all I'll say is the person that I picked with my first overall pick, which was in our league, which was I was like 8th overall out of the 10-man league, was Nick Chubb, and that hasn't worked out, unfortunately.
I mean, it worked out until it broke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mine just hasn't worked out at all.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, last matchup. We got the Rams and the Bengals. We have both picked the Bengals to get this win. But in order for that to happen, I have to once again say Joe Burrow is the matchup monster. If he's healthy, things will go well.
Oh, please let no injuries happen this Monday night. Otherwise, Monday Night Football is going to be cursed. I'm going to say Joe Mixon.
Okay.
I'm going with the other Joe.
Hey. Then we get into our For the Fun, because that is the end of our matchups. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of overreacting to the first 2 weeks as far as who is going to win each division, who are the wild cards, and who are the Super Bowl contenders.
And Shane. Oh, man. I know so many people overreacting. One of my fantasy leagues right now, literally 3 people after the first 2 weeks just completely imploded their own team.
Ooh, all right.
Like, they traded away 5 players and 2 second-round picks for, like, 4 first-round picks and 2 rookies.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, things went crazy today. Anyways, overreacting, AFC East. Honestly, I believe the Dolphins. I think the Bills, for whatever reason, have taken a step back from a couple years ago, and I think it's the Dolphins division at this point.
The Dolphins even have a shot at the number 1 overall seed.
I can't make dolphin noises, so.
Where's SpongeBob SquarePants when you need him?
Anyways.
AFC North. Ravens.
I want to say the Bengals still, but
No,
honestly, with the way things are
Ravens.
looking, Ravens. Ravens.
I think the Bengals will figure it out. I just don't think it can happen twice. I know that the Bengals have been 0-2 before and they've come back. I don't think it can happen two times
I think the
in a
Ravens
year.
gotta stay healthy though.
Yep, exactly. But I will go with them and say the Ravens in the AFC North. AFC West, Chiefs.
What? Not the Raiders, but yeah, Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to be the number one overall seed, is my feeling, but the Chiefs will still win their
I mean,
division.
they lost to the Lions in Week 1.
Yep. AFC South,
AFC South.
Jaguars. There's no one else. It's the Jaguars.
Oh, it makes me happy to hear you say that because there are times to me where I get worried, but after seeing what we did last season, I'm like, you know what? I feel like we're only getting better.
Yeah, it'll be a bit of growing pains, but they'll get it. How about some wild card teams? I feel like the Buffalo Bills can be one of the wild card
Oh yeah,
teams for the
I think
AFC.
Bills will make the wild card,
I think the Bengals are another.
which leads us to only one team left, and I'm like, dude, do we put the Chargers who are 0-2? Do we put, heaven
I
forbid, the Tennessee Titans?
no. I'm gonna go with either the Los Angeles Chargers because I don't want to go with the Steelers.
You know what? I agree. And a lot of people are saying that this could be Mike Tomlin's last year as a head coach. So I think if they miss it,
Yep.
the playoffs, Tomlin might be gone. And honestly, I don't even think he's the problem over there.
Oh, he's not. He's not.
He's just the fall man at this point. He's the martyr.
Yep. Okay, now going over into the NFC. NFC East. I don't want to hear it about the Cowboys and their
Oh,
defense and everything. It's still going to be the Eagles
oh, thank you.
because the offense, particularly around Dak Prescott, will fail in the end.
And I gotta double check this real quick, but let's see. The Cowboys face the Giants, who they shut out. Which honestly, the Giants looked like they were a college level team at that point, maybe even a high school
Yeah.
level. They honestly, the Giants week 1 did not even look like a professional football team.
No, they did not.
Let's see. Who did the Eagles play week 1? The Eagles played the Patriots, which was a little close and a little concerning. People were concerned about that. But then they went
Yeah.
on to play the Vikings, and we've talked about how the Vikings can be a good team, and they won that, whereas the Cowboys went on to play the Jets with Zach Wilson, yada yada yada.
Yes.
I think the Eagles have had a tougher schedule, and I think they're the better team.
Yep. NFC North. Give me the Lions.
Oh, you want to go straight to north? Oh man, I love that we're putting the Lions in because that just makes me happy.
Well, and here's the thing. The Vikings will probably find a way to rebound, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make the
The
playoffs.
Lions
Bears
have
are a mess.
finally done
Packers, no.
it. The Lions have finally done it. When was the last time they won the division?
I think it was back in the '90s, dude.
Oh, I'm checking now.
Yeah, look at that now. I swear, I don't even think we were even born the last time they won the division.
Yep. 1991.
Oh my gosh!
Woo!
Hey, how about it? That's
Oh,
funny.
that that's rough. That is very
That would be
rough.
cool to see. That would be cool to see if they won their division this year.
Oh man.
I
I mean,
will say
they've
this.
gotten
I
the
get the
wild card a couple of times, so I'll give
Yeah,
them that.
yes, they have. But I will say this. I think that the NFC North is gonna
Oh,
kind of be like the
93, my
NFC
bad.
South last year.
93,
Oh,
my bad. Something was
93.
wrong.
Okay. I will say this though, and I don't know if you caught it, but I will say I think the NFC North is gonna kind of be like the NFC South last year. I think they will be the weakest division in football.
Yeah, the Bears look really bad. The Packers. I mean, I think
Growing
there's
pains.
I think there are contenders for the worst division right now, but NFC North is definitely the bottom two.
Yeah, for sure. NFC West, give me the 49ers. Probably the number one seed.
Probably, which is so weird. But honestly, like, I mean, I count me as one of those people. I wasn't sure about Brock Purdy this year, but you can't argue with what's going on in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the most recent Gridiron Heights? Because I know we talk about Gridiron Heights all the time.
Oh man, that Gridiron Heights episode was so funny. Just there were
The
so
summer
many
the summer
references.
Brock turned Purdy. Oh man, it got me. I was laughing
The
so
Trevor
hard.
Lawrence one, I'm just like, man, this is just amazing.
It was funny.
Just
It
all these
was really.
coaches getting like their young quarterbacks and like falling in love with them. honestly, it's not what I was prepared for because I'm like, oh, we had the Aaron Rodgers injury, and it's Aaron Rodgers sitting on a couch trying to find something to watch, and it's all these new coaches with their quarterbacks. Great one was the
Yep.
Packers one.
Right. That was funny. Make me jealous. I'm not jealous.
I'm not jealous.
Okay. Finishing up here. Now we've just got the NFC South. Man, I got the Falcons.
I got the Falcons too.
Yep.
It,
Hey.
it, will, it will never happen because of 28-3.
Oh yeah. Hey, how about the wild card teams?
Wild
Cowboys.
card.
Cowboys will make a wild card.
Yeah, Cowboys are gonna be in a whoop-de-doo.
Give me the Seahawks.
Oh, you got the Seahawks going in?
Yeah, probably it's the 6th seed.
Oh, who's your 7th seed then? Because I wouldn't have picked the 6th seed.
Either the Rams or the Commanders.
Oh, so you're saying the Vikings miss out completely?
Yes, I do.
Oh. You know, I kind of want to pick the Commanders, but at the same time, like, Puka Nacua has been looking very good.
And when Cooper Kupp gets back,
They have a solid wide receiver one with Kupp, who already has the chemistry, and then Stafford has built that chemistry with Puka Nacua, so
Yep.
I think I go with the Rams on it too.
All right, then who do you think are the Super Bowl contenders? Let's get like 2 teams from the AFC and 2 teams from the NFC.
Honestly, looking at the AFC, I gotta go with the Dolphins. That's one.
Yep, and I know it sounds like, a broken record, very cliche, but I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs on the other.
Yeah, I really wish I could put my team down, but I don't think this year. I think maybe next year we have some things to fix, but not right now.
Yep, for sure. Okay, and in the NFC, give me the 49ers.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're gonna see 49ers possibly in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, as long as they stay healthy.
Second team,
Eagles.
I think I gotta go with Eagles. I'm like, it's close between the Eagles and the Cowboys, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I think those two could meet each other in the playoffs, and it's going to be interesting.
So we got our 4 Super Bowl contenders: the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Eagles. Do we want to say between these 4, what do we think the Super Bowl matchup will be?
I got to guess, but I'm not holding any stock in it. You know what I mean?
Right. This is just for fun. This is for the fun.
Yeah. I would say let's have a rematch of the Super Bowl in the 1984-1985 season, and that's the Dolphins versus the 49ers.
You know, I think we're on the same brainwave because I'm thinking Dolphins and 49ers as well.
Yep. So instead of Dan Marino versus Joe Montana, now we've got Tua Tagovailoa versus Brock Purdy. It'll be fun.
Man, what a wild turn of events. Who would think that Mr. Irrelevant would be in the Super Bowl?
He almost was last year if it weren't for that injury.
True. Now, okay, so we got Dolphins 49ers in the Super Bowl. Who would win it? Yeah. A little tough on ya.
Yeah,
It's a tough one.
Part of me really wants to say the 49ers because I believe they have the superior defense.
And I think the 49ers are just like an overall well-functioning team.
Yes.
But what I think it's going to be is Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I still want Tyreek Hill to get that 2,000 receiving yard career or season.
See, I feel like Brock Purdy has proved that he can do well under pressure. Tua, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still blown away. I did not think that Brock Purdy would be lasting this long in the NFL, but I'm happy to see he's out there and he's working hard, he's thriving. His teammates seem to love him as their quarterback.
Yes, they do.
Which, honestly, I bet most people, when he came in, were like, oh, we don't really care. But, I mean, he's played good football and he's played clean football.
True.
But with that will conclude our episode for the week.
It's been a good one, and I think, week 3 will be very, very exciting. We'll be, we have some good matchups here, including ones where, we may be seeing some saving moments for a couple of teams that are not doing well with their records right now. Talking basically between the Chargers and the Vikings. I think that'll be a good matchup for this week. Rams and Bengals might be interesting. Let's see other ones that might be good. Patriots and Jets, I think, is worth a watch.
Falcons and
Bills and
Lions could be
Commanders,
interesting.
yeah. Lions and Falcons might be good. Yeah, there's a few good ones in there.
There's some good
As long as
football.
people stay healthy.
They're,
As
they're
long as long I think I've said it a lot tonight, but as long as people stay healthy, that's kind of the big one
I
right
mean
now because now we've seen you got Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, whoever you want to say. It's yeah.
to be fair, there's people going down very quickly this season. Also, I'm not excited for Thursday night football this week.
It'll be a blowout. It's true.
I'm not looking forward to it. Monday night redemption. Sunday night we got Eagles and Buccaneers, which I'm like, it's not. Oh no, wait. Monday is also Eagles Buccaneers, which I'm not hating on. Steelers versus Raiders for Sunday night is kind of like a.
Eh,
Although I will
yeah.
say I'm excited for next week, and we will talk about that in our next episode because NFL has a surprise for us, and I will
Oh,
talk about it next week.
all right.
What with that, everybody? We will see you guys next time.
Have a good night, everyone.